was my finger in the door.
Good morning folks, welcome back to the farm. Today it's one of those days where you really don't have a plan and they can go either two ways. They can be really unproductive and you just kind of kick around the place trying to find something to do and never really get it done, or you jump on it and be really productive, and that's what we're aiming for. So today I'm going to get a gate hung. Got this gate, it's been leaning against this post outside our window for the past few months. Then we're going to get on some big fencing down the end of the track if the truck makes it down there, but more on that in a bit. So normal kit, we've got a bracket for the top, an adjustable for the bottom, and we're going to get it all drilled up, and then hopefully it's going to hang on this post here. This post is actually a little bit short, but it might work. I'm going to have to dig out some of this. I've done a full gate hanging video on the main channel. On the rest, I shouldn't call it the main channel anymore because this channel is its own thing in its own right now. But hanging gates is a video and it shows everything, getting the posts in, and it's a pair of gates as well, so there's a bit more hardware involved. I said it's going to be one of the productive days. This is not a good start. What on earth is going on here? These are the nuts and bolts supplied. It's the wrong thread size. See if that one will tighten. I mean, they're definitely the ones that came in the packet. Look. It's just turning. I don't know if it's the nut or the... I think maybe it's that first bolt. That's better. No, it's not. It's slipping on the thread. Ah, Wednesday, what have you done here? Now I can't find any bolts to put the hinges on. So these, I was going to use these, just bolt them to that steel, because I had these already. I could get weld-on pins, but it would take even longer to get all my kit together. So it looks like we're just about okay on height. Should be able to bolt one of those in. I can dig down a little bit and then we'll level it off. We'll just take out a good bit of this. There's a good old lump the other side anyway to grade out, and this stuff here, it can all be smoothed right out. One step closer at least. Therefore we are on to plan 2 of the day, which is to get all the strainers made up, maybe even hang some gate hinges and get the lines out ready for the fencing. Oh, excuse that dead rabbit I just found. Right, let's go get a tape measure. Got a full 20-ton load of type 1 coming this week or next week, because I've got to finish 2 of the gateways and a bit of backfill and stuff to do. So I'm going to put a little bit of that down the track because it's simply impassable at the moment and I don't want to churn it up anymore. There is the constant advice of getting better tyres for the truck, but for something, I mean, we do use it on the farm almost daily, but it did alright last year, and as soon as the ground's frozen it's not an issue. You know, these aren't the worst tyres. They are proper sort of all-terrain 50-50 sort of things, which for most of the time is okay. So if I went to mud terrain tyres, I just worry that they'd soon clog up, and I'm not sure how easy they unclog anyway. So once a tyre's clogged up, it's clogged up, right? I might just be a novice when it comes to that sort of thing, so maybe we'll try them. I have looked and they're about 110 or something for new mud terrain fitted. Remember, all this flooded last week, but as soon as you're up here it's okay, it's not too bad at least. Alright, do we attempt getting right at the far end? I could do with getting up there. Look like we're almost going sideways here. I mean, we're pretty close. I reckon we can do it. Let's get that electric fence in. My finger in the door. We do need to do up here as well, but we may as well start down here while we're on hard ground. So you can see we did this side. This is going to become an L. So the first one to fit is between here and here. I'm actually going to bring the ground level up there. Some of them, if they've been right next to a gate, I've tried to make horizontal because it looks neater with the gate. But as soon as you've got a contour, a fall in the ground, you kind of want to follow that because you're straining with the line of the fence. So that's why that's going down. That one's more level. I did so well not to forget anything. I've got my gripple tool and I have no idea where it is. Alright, all good intentions. Change of plan. I'm going to get all of the strainers to this point. Well, most of them to this point before lunch. Then I'll go up and get the wire cutters, the gripple tool, and anything else we might need and we've forgotten. So that's the figure of 8 done. But I'm not going to cut it. I've got a Leatherman, but it's just easier to wait. So I'll get 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we've got enough to get on with. we're getting somewhere now. That's 4 done, far quicker than my first attempt a few weeks back. So obviously we haven't done the wire yet, but you know what, circular saw and a chisel takes about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more per box strainer, and you could do it far quicker with a chainsaw. But I'm not sure I'd be happy with the finish, just because I like getting these mortises as neat as I can. And I mean, this one could be in a little bit more. That's going in quite far though, because it was quite a pointy one. I cut the point off and then scribed around it, and that's going nowhere. Same thing down here. If you chainsaw it, you can just kind of shave off that square notch, but I'm happy with the few extra minutes it takes to notch it in and make sure it's super tight. There's not a nail in that yet, but it's going nowhere. All right, now up here, similar story, but it's we hit a big rock, I think, over here from memory. So one of the 2 of these are a little bit skew, but they're still going to perform the same way, just might look a bit odd. It's probably a mixture of these rabbit holes in combination with a few hard areas, and I think it might be this one that went in. Last pair, and then I think we deserve lunch. So all of this I need to cut and trim and sort out before I actually get the netting in, but we should be able to kick everything out the way for now. Oh, we did all right. It's 1 o'clock. It's time to go in for a bit of lunch. We got all 8 done. So we are ready to start on the wire. I'm going to bring down the strimmer and probably aim to if I aim to get all the figure of 8 bits done on the strainers, that'd be good. If I can pull out some of the lines, that'd be even better. But let's not push it too much, because we know what it's like this time of year. It gets depressingly dark, depressingly early. Oh, some weight to these mags. You can have a neck like a rugby player. Now the correct thing to do would be to walk back and not risk a stuck truck, but we're gonna be lazy. All right, lunch over. Spent far too long sat on my bum. So we need gripple tool, I've got fencing pliers, I've got, and also this little gadget here, the red thing. I'll show you that when we get there. Alright, that's one done. Before we go any further, I want to show you a new gadget that arrived a few weeks back, and I have used it, but I haven't really filmed anything with it. And it's all to do with these hard posts. If you remember, these posts are false acacia robinia. They're rock solid, a really dense hardwood, and you just can't drive a staple in without it bending, or not very far at least. And I've got a staple gun which works okay now, and it shoots them in enough, but if you're trying to drive in by hand, one of these 40mm staples, they just bend. I spoke to the guy I bought the post from, and he suggested that, as well as obviously using the staple gun, but you could use one of these. It costs about £20, £25, made in the UK. Really simple thing. All you do is take a regular 40mm staple, these are barbed, you know, nice big proper ones, and it sits in there. There's a little ball bearing that catches it, and that just stops the staple from splaying as you whack it in. Now, you wouldn't want to use this if you were doing thousands of staples. It might slow you down quite a bit, but if you need to get a hand-driven staple in and you don't want it to bend out, this is a good way to go. And also, I noticed that you can knock it in until this stubby steel bit hits the post, that leaves you with that much protruding, which is the perfect amount for your wire. Unless you want to hammer it in tight for some reason, that's all you need. And if you do need to tap it in any further, you take out and turn the groove, and then you can knock in the last bit using this, or you can just hit it with a hammer. Perfect. I was thinking about it over lunch. This is probably the most expensive corner of the whole farm. Not only have we got about 10 corners and strainers within 50 metres of each other, we've got 4 gates, the track to sort out, 2 troughs, water pipe to run up. It's ridiculous, such a small area. Solid. Another one done. Right, I guess we're carrying everything up the other end. Good, another one bites the dust. That is 2 to go. It's amazing how solid they get as soon as you put this in. For those of you who haven't come across this way of securing the end of a fence, the idea is that this wire forms the triangle. It's instead of just having a diagonal kind of strut that comes down into the ground here. If this post was to want to move that way as well, because the fence is going to be tied to there, then it can't, because this one is stopped by that. So it's kind of a triangle of love going on there. So that is corner number 2. Corner number 3 is down there. I know, don't worry, don't forget the sheep. I can't see them, but I'm trusting them. Big shout out to whoever made this. They haven't even put the name on it. Staple Mate, maybe? Staple Guide, something like that. But for putting this big bolster type flange thing on there so you don't smash your hand when you're inside a hedge. Thank you very much. See, the bottom here is about 300 mil off the ground level, and that's because all this has got to be infilled with gravel or type 1. That's why that netting over there is floating. But I've got to bring our 4-ton dumper down that track, and as much as it's 4-wheel drive, it's not going to come down here at the moment. So what I'm actually thinking is I'll gradually tip a bit of gravel into the treads, a bit of stone in there as I come along, and almost make a road for myself. No other way to get it down here, and this has got to be done really one, it needs to be done because this is just eroding. You know how deep this used to be, and all the trailers got caught in it and the tractors. I've built it up a bit, but the water just washes it all down into the brook. So by putting a membrane down and some type 1 properly, that'll be much stronger for this gateway. It's going to last nicer. I'll move that dead hay bale in a minute. So as I mentioned just now, it's extraordinary how such a small patch of land can cost so much to get the infrastructure set up on. Our farm in general is small. It's just over 20 acres, and for some people that might just be a field or 2 fields. They might be square, and it's pretty easy to fence that, put a water trough in the corner of each, and you're done. Here, although it's only 20 acres, it feels a lot bigger because it's split over 5 or 6 different fields. There's paddocks, there's 2 watercourses, there's the small lake, there's endless hedgerows, woods, which is lovely and which is why we bought the farm, but it means that there is that much more maintenance and fencing to get done. And this end of this meadow area with the end of the track just kind of summarizes exactly how it is. It's just a lot in a small place, but it's all going to get done unless we were just going to go completely risky and just use electric fencing and just throw sheep in and let them go anywhere. Really, if you're going to manage it properly and strip graze and have some sort of life, and not be constantly worrying about things, then getting the fencing in is worth doing in our first couple of years, especially before the house build, because when that starts, not much else is going to happen for a while. There's that. So it's relatively straight, this bit, but there's a gradual curve. So I put this is a 9-foot strut, which Tom banged in, but it started splitting, so we left it. I'll cut it off, so it's already 3 or 4 good feet in the ground. We'll use that, and then we'll probably end up going behind the post on that bend, a little bit like the opposite of what I've done on the right hand side. I'm going to cheat this end. I found a gripple in the truck. Okay. So that's a straight line pulled from strainer to the turner. It's kind of a little bit further in than I thought. I didn't want to be right on the edge here, but I'll probably pull the posts across just a smidge, if I can. Right, dog, should we go find some sheep? Ah, there you are. Actually, Samson needs to come out today, because I could do with having 1 flock to look after, not 2. So the pregnant ewes, or hopefully pregnant ewes, can go back in with the lambs from last year. Shearlings, we should call them now. Good girl. Got a lot going on the lake today. More hens, ducks, no heron. Come on then, my beauties. Come on then, girls. So when we do move into this field, this is the beginning of that long run, kind of 300 or 400 meters that goes all the way along the top past the willow. So all those are in, ready to go. I just need to get all the netting, and then the gate will be hung on this beast here. I mean, look at that, that's just a whopper. Gate will go on there, and then another short strainer, just a mirror image of what we've just done. Another bit of netting there, and then that big long curve around to the oak tree and up. So I'm trying to claim a token of an IOU my brother gave me for Christmas last year, which was a couple of days work on the farm. So we're a year on and I'm claiming that voucher because I found the card the other day. So hopefully Phil's going to come up next week, and I reckon we should be able to, if I've got everything here, should be able to get all this netting done on the triangle and this little section down here, and then that would see that done, and maybe hang a gate. Then I can let these girls up because they may as well graze right to the end now. Actually, I can give you a little update on tupping if you're interested. So we've now got 15 ewes, just the one breed, just the Clins, and Samson, who's our ram there. And I don't know if he was just going flying by night or he was being lazy, but we didn't see too much action going on in the first week he went in, whereas last year he was straight at it. So I did check him over just to make sure he hadn't got a bad foot or anything, but he seemed fine. And then so I think he did get around them. Unfortunately, the blue raddle just didn't seem to colour them very well. And then 3 or 4 weeks in, I changed him to green, and there was one who was very green, who was then covered again, which means she didn't get pregnant the first time, but she came back into season, which is why she was hit with green and not the blue, or she was hit with both colours. And the others don't seem to have had their dosing of green, which is a good sign. But I might pull him out and then put him back in a week's time with a bit of red on him, just in case we don't have a second ram. So last year, because we had 2, I could put Fred, Fluffy Balls Fred, in as a bit of a sweeper, and he was a Southdown, so he could just go in behind. I don't think we had any Southdown crosses, so it means Samson did his job. But it would be a disaster if we got to January for scanning and we'd missed loads just because we only got one ram. We're putting a lot of faith in this boy. What it means now is Samson needs to be sold. We're a bit late now. I was going to try, and that's why I put him in a week early, because I thought I might sell him, but I just didn't see enough raddle on the girls to trust that he'd done his job. And he's really nice, and I think as breed standard wise, he comes from like one of the best flocks in the country, or in Wales I should say. But you know, as he's related, we can't keep him on, so I need to try and sell him to someone who maybe he's just got a small flock like us. Go on, girl, go on, dinner's over, back onto your dry ground. There's something quite nice about walking sheep in and like just moving them on. I was thinking about it the other day, there's so many people working from home or able to work remotely. I was wondering if is there a niche for a modern day nomadic shepherd. You could have a little truck, a little office in the back, you know, all converted out. You could be doing whatever, you could be accountant or anything, working away in the back on your laptop with Starlink or your 5G or whatever, and graze out on common land, or not have to fence in quite so thorough ways, and just be a modern day shepherd. I've been watching too many Nativity Plays recently. Right, can I do this one-handed? I can't throw that for you though. In all seriousness though, as a first generation new entrant, whatever you want to call it, new to farming, it's expensive, and well, do you know what, I say it's expensive, it can be, and you need that capital to start with, but likewise you can do it on a different scale and just go all electric, rent your ground, and your capital outlay is only your livestock and a bit of, you know, an energizer. But I can see why it's just so hard for new starters. We bought this place with the money we sold our last house for, which means we put money into getting the farm up and running, but it's never going to be profit making exercise. Hopefully the videos will be, but produce won't be, not on our scale. But it was something that just needed to be done for legacy, you know, so in years to come it is a secure place to graze, and it's just one less worry for us. It's just something that had to be done, but obviously that's a huge wedge of our build costs or build funds. So that's why these claims, getting these grants, well, one, getting the grants is really helpful, finding out about them, but two, actually getting them claimed, because it's no good getting all these grants approved if then you never claim the money back. So hopefully that's not going to take too long and rural payments don't delay by months on end, because that would just be added stress. We've done a good job there, Maggie. I think you deserve one more fencing post offcut throw. Ready? That one might be in the brook. Good. I'm going to leave it there because I've got to get this out of here. If anyone is a four-wheel drive enthusiast and has any input on tyres, let me know. Maybe I just have to bite the bullet and spend more money that I don't have. But Insta Turbo Dakar was what I found, which seemed kind of reasonably priced and reasonably tready for mud. But if anyone's got any tips, let me know. It never has to go on road, which is a benefit. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little insight. We do have the farming fencing playlist if you want to see all the fencing action, but hopefully in the next week I'll be able to jump on this netting, get it all wrapped up, then these sheep can have a bit more salad. Take care, see you next time.